Khloé and Tristan have broken up. And that's not the story as much as when they broke up. According to this source, Khloé and Tristan broke up a few weeks ago, friends of the former couple exclusively revealed. Quote, "They're getting along. There is no drama. Everything is amicable."
Sure. We thought the timeline was going to be Sydney Chase, 3 women in a room, rumpled shirt, then break up. But what the actual timeline is, Sydney Chase, break up, wait a couple weeks, 3 women in a room, shirt disheveled. Now, let's get on to the very important things that are going on in Hollywood. A breakup, for example.
Yeah, sold that one.
So important.
Khloé Kardashian and Tristan Thompson have broken up again. I know for most Americans and such,
U.S. Americans,
you don't particularly care about what a Khloé Kardashian and Tristan Thompson are doing, but this is right in the wheelhouse of the Colleen and Bradley show for a number of reasons. Chief among them, because it's an example of how celebrities or people who consider themselves celebrities in this world, because after all, what is a celebrity anymore?
What is this world anymore?
Manipulate, the gossip tabloid timeline to make money and screw us all out of attention. So to that end, the Kardashians in particular, in this case, involve Khloé and a guy named Tristan. Now, the headline is that they've broken up again. Let me tell you that story, and then we can talk about what it means. Okay. So over on page 6, and this broke yesterday afternoon, I would say probably, I don't know, 4:05,
I think, actually. It was about.
I'm
sorry, 4:12. 4:12.
Cute. Khloé, according to a source speaking exclusively to page 6, but this was reported also exclusively over at Us Weekly and other outlets, including but not limited to the Daily Mail. So
how do so many people have exclusives?
Because Kris Jenner sent out a press release to all of those people. Thank you. Anyway, exclusive. Khloé and Tristan have broken up. And that's not the story as much as when they broke up. According to this source, Khloé and Tristan broke up a few weeks ago, friends of the former couple exclusively revealed. Quote, "They're getting along. There is no drama. Everything is amicable."
Sure.
They are on the same page with co-parenting. Apparently, the couple split shortly after and in fact, I thought today we were going to come to you, dear audience, at the end of yesterday's show, as I was perusing the timeline. I noticed that there was a story on the Daily Mail about Tristan Thompson going to a party and disappearing into a room with 3 ladies. And then coming out of that room with a rumpled shirt.
Appearing, quote, disheveled.
Yes. So I thought that's where we would have ended up today to talk about, here we go with new cheating scandal, because it was just a few weeks ago, I think, actually a couple months ago, wherein we learned that a woman named Sydney Chase claimed to have had an affair with Tristan Thompson at a time that he was supposed to have been back together and not cheating on Khloé Kardashian. So I thought that's where we were going to be today, talking about this new scandal.
Right.
Adding to the other scandal, which, by the way, Khloé Kardashian and Tristan Thompson haven't ever really publicly spoken about.
Not even a little bit.
Very quickly after that story appeared in the Daily Mail, there was the torrent of headlines about, oh no, you guys, they broke up like weeks ago. So this is not a cheating scandal because Khloé was not even dating Tristan Thompson when this happened. So as if to say, we just forgot to tell the media we're not together. Could we just let them know? So then we get all of these sources speaking openly. And according to that source, who spoke specifically to page 6, the couple split shortly after that Sydney Chase experience, which was in April. And I can't believe that was already back in April, because I thought that was like a couple weeks ago. It just tells you how it all runs together, and I have no concept of time.
What even is time?
So that is the story today, that those two, they broke up weeks ago. Tristan Thompson, he's just doing what Tristan Thompson does, goes into rooms with 3 ladies and comes out with wrinkles. So
in other words, just to kind of really quickly recap all the things that you just said, but very quickly, we thought the timeline was going to be Sydney Chase, 3 women in a room, rumpled shirt, then breakup. But what the actual timeline is, Sydney Chase, breakup, wait a couple weeks, 3 women in a room, shirt disheveled.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's completely, now it's like this revision of the space-time continuum, because what really probably was happening was that the Kardashians just weren't ready to announce the breakup because it didn't fit with the timeline they're trying to put out with their fictional scripted TV show finale situation.
So yeah, and we always talk about their timeline. I'm confused because in this case, I don't know what that timeline is. I don't know what the narrative is. There is only one narrative that has come out about Khloé and Tristan. And that is the narrative about Khloé and Tristan having another child by surrogate. I'm going to now peel back the curtain and tell you what I think is happening, although I have zero proof, but that in turn may lead us to where we find ourselves today. What I mean by that is, I think that Khloé wants to have another child with Tristan because even if they're not in a relationship, they have a child together. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. It would seem probably rather convenient to have a surrogate relationship because that precludes you from actually having sex. I don't know if Khloé's ever talked about infertility, but regardless, my point is the only narrative that all this cheating stuff would somehow come between is if you were having us believe that those two were together because she wanted to have another child. When in actuality, what's probably really going on is she's like, yeah, I want to have another child. Let's have a surrogate and Tristan's like, I'm fine with that. But their relationship never came back together after they initially had
True.
had that child. Because, you know, she kind of has known he's a cheater all along. And then there was the whole stuff with, or at the very least, up until Jordan Woods, right? Like, so at some point they were together. They're not together anymore, but maybe they wanted us to believe that they were so that it wouldn't be there wouldn't be, and by the way, I think this is all ridiculous because I don't need to know why you're choosing to have a child and how. It's up to you. But because this is a family that lives their lives out in the open, it seems totally plausible that they wanted us to believe that they were back together long enough to have another child. This Sydney Chase story got in the way of that. And so at that point, they were like, yeah, we're not doing this. And the reason I say all of that is because yesterday there was a story about how there's a hitch in the giddy up of their surrogate plans. And it was like, oh, just at the time where we find out they haven't been together for weeks, even though they're amicably still together, we find out that there's a hitch in their surrogacy giddy up. Does that make sense?
1,000%.
That was kind of convoluted.
No, but you know what? And really, okay, if I may just take it one step further, you know who enemy number one of the Kardashians is today? It's Tristan Thompson. Because if he could have just kept his extracurricular activities out of the public eye, they would have gotten away with everything. Do you see what I'm saying? So it really is his being caught in this particular scenario that has changed their plan. So they had to be nimble with this plan. And that's why nothing is making sense.
It seems like to me, Sydney Chase was the wrench in the machine that they weren't expecting because no doubt Tristan, if they're not in a relationship, has had other relationships with women. By that, I mean, maybe a relationship, maybe sex, maybe dating. I don't know.
Relations.
Again, I don't care. But the Sydney Chase coming out with a microphone talking about all these things that contradicted the timeline as laid out by the Kardashians seems like the thing that, and then because we said very specifically, I remember saying very specifically at the time, like, it'll be interesting to see what Khloé ultimately says. Again, I will just remind you, at this point, she has still continued to say nothing. So we've learned all this stuff about her and Tristan without her actually having said anything. And remember, the only thing she actually is saying, even though this is arguably the more important thing, right? This is her relationship, the parent of her child, right? She's talking about what? I mean, what has she been talking about lately?
Oh, her face.
Yeah.
Her nose.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Yes, the difference between the Sydney Chase thing and then this rumpled shirt with 3 women in a room incident is that we have receipts for this one. They were trying to manage the Sydney Chase thing without managing it by like trying to throw silence at it. And like you said, the diversion of her continuing to talk. I mean, how convenient that she has this story about her face to keep her busy and talking.
Yeah.
Because then she doesn't have to talk about Tristan.
Her nose job yesterday. Like with Khloé, it's always revealing something that nobody asked
about.
Like like she was totally prompted by Andy Cohen to talk about her nose job, knowing it would get headlines.
Who was prompted by Kris Jenner.
Right. To get
ask
headlines.
the question.
Yeah. But I think to put a pin in what you were just saying, the receipts in this case include photos of Tristan at the party and a woman who came out on Twitter and was very specific about, what went down. So again, that flies in the face of, there you have again, like Sydney Chase, a woman saying, well, Tristan's not. And at the end of the day, what I don't understand about any of this is it makes Khloé look foolish. And she has looked foolish since the first time he cheated on her and she took him back. Now, it's not that people can't be in relationships with people, and I don't know what your rules are. Everybody's got different rules. Like, we're not judging.
We're just analyzing.
Yeah, we're just saying. But my point is, she lives her life in public for reality TV purposes. Is she just being used to look like the pathetic sad sack that she is? Because at this point, I don't understand how she isn't supposed to look or being made to look. I'm not saying she is pathetic.
No,
I'm saying she is being made to look pathetic in the tabloids.
We talk about brands, right? And each one of the Kardashians kind of has a brand, right? So Kim is, the girl boss, #lady boss. And actually, Kylie also kind of has that same vibe. Kourtney is the mom. She's the mom boss. And Khloé's brand, whether she likes it or not, I think it's working for her, is this like sad Khloé, poor Khloé.
She's the clapbacker.
And she claps back, but she's poor Khloé. She's always the victim. And so that's why she has to clap back. And this just furthers that. And I don't know that it's doing her any favors.
She's the woman with all the cards, with all the power, with all the money, with all the privilege.
With all the bad decisions.
And yet, somehow she ends up looking totally pathetic. And I imagine we're a few days away from her ranting and raving at somebody about something. And I doubt it's about Tristan, because again, for some reason, they just don't want to talk about it. They'd talk about, the nose job. They'll talk about the surrogacy, but she's not talking about the thing that previously she loved to drag people over the coals about. So I don't know.